All right, I gotta admit it, I'm a nerd for conferences. And now that things are going back in person for conferences, it's great if you're an attendee. But if you're a marketer like me, it's more challenging than ever, right? To figure out strategies for both in person and also virtual. But in this video, I'm gonna break down 3 strategies that you can use to leverage the power of video for your conferences. And whether that's before the conference happens, during the conference, and then one of the most important strategies is what happens after the conference. I'm going to break it down for you. Let's get started. All right, I'm excited to share my conference strategies, and I'm excited just to be able to go back in person to be able to meet customers and clients and prospects. But let's get into it. We're nerds for conferences, and we break it down into 3 marketing buckets, which are I'm going to go over details on what assets, like specifically video assets that you can leverage before the conference, what you can capture from a video perspective during the actual conference, which is super important. And then also post-conference, I'm going to dig into how we can leverage the power of video to interact not only with attendees, but those that didn't attend. And no matter what industry you're in, medical, pharma, construction, SaaS, technology, medical technology, conferences are a major importance for the sales process, and conferences are used to leverage for new initiatives that you're pushing out, new products. You could be talking about a new solution that you're offering through a product theater, or your key opinion leaders are talking about your solution and how it interacts with your customers, and we want to capture that, right? But I'll get into that in a moment. The other thing too, we're nerds for is the in-booth experience and how we can leverage the power of video for the actual in-booth. And then here are the categories we're going to talk about: pre, during, post. Let's get into the pre-conference activities, which marketing and sellers are actively reaching out to prospects and customers to let them know. Marketing is going to jump into their CRM, right? Figure out which prospects that they can target to let them know that you're going to be at this upcoming conference. And then sellers are going to get in there and really understand how they can follow up with these prospects to try to pre-book these meetings. So when the sellers show up, they have a full list of day activities of meetings that they can do ahead of time. And then also using the power of social media and pay-per-click for the marketing team and leverage. So what sort of assets video-wise that you would need to create for any pre-conference activities? Let's get into it. We want to create an event video to educate those prospects. Again, if you're launching a new product, you have a new solution, maybe you've got data that you're releasing, maybe you paid for a product theater that you're talking about your newest update of your solution, or you're launching a new product, or maybe you've got corporate workshops. Let's talk about it. Let's get your prospects excited to come to the conference and meet with you. I would also recommend creating a shorter event video ad. Your typical event video is going to be about 60 to 90 seconds. Maybe it's a little bit longer, and I'm going to show you an example of this in a second. But the event video is really that can be leveraged for paid media. So this is like 30 seconds, super hype video. And then you always want to tie it back to what's the foundation of the campaign. Like, where does that video live? Where is it hosted at? And you want to create an engaging event video landing page. So that video is going to go on the event landing page, but then also the customer journey page. So let's say if you have one persona, we want to make sure that we're speaking directly to them about the event. So those are some of the pre-conference videos that you can create. More importantly, let's get into the during the conference activities, which we know your activity is going to be at a high level in the booth. You're going to be scanning badges of those prospects that are coming in. The sellers are out there doing demos or talking to prospects through lunches, dinners, and breakfasts. And I know it's like an all-day thing. And then also marketing should continue to pay their media and do outreach during the actual conference, and then also digitally be able to geo-target around the conference trade show just to get that full saturation. What you want to be able to do from a content perspective, though, is this is the prime opportunity. This is the way to maximize the event. All your KOLs, subject matter experts, maybe you've got customers there, obviously coming to the conference too. Let's take advantage of that. I'm going to get into it and show you a couple of slides, but we want to be able to take advantage of all those attendees that you know. Again, whether it's thought leadership in the space, whether it's KOLs, whether it's stakeholders for your company, they're there. Let's take advantage of that. Let's record video content that you can repurpose for the entire year. The in-booth experience, most conferences and clients that we work with, they typically have a TV screen, or typically now it's more than one, it's like multiple screens. Let's create an interactive booth loop video that showcases your solution through eye-catching graphics, information through motion, and I'm going to show you an example of that in a moment too. And then one of the most important factors that we want to talk about is post-conference, and this is a huge opportunity that I see all the time that's missed, is you do all these badge scans, you dump all the leads into a CRM, and then your sales team is going in there trying to figure out who to follow up with. Let's create a short email sequence that addresses the pain points of your buyers all the way from awareness to decision, and let's warm up those MQLs post-conference and turn them into more qualified sales leads. And then also let's give the content the power that the sellers can leverage through the buyer's journey to be helpful. Some of the video content that we typically either create or clients already have are product videos, explainer videos, late stage objection FAQ videos are super important. As I mentioned already, KOLs or testimonial videos, which you can capture at the actual conference. And then if you do have a product theater that you're launching a solution, we want to be able to record that, and then you can repurpose this as well. So again, during your conference is a great opportunity to maximize the event and then also capture as much video content as you can. And then pretty much some clients that we work with, like we can so much content for video for the conference that they have like 6 months worth of content that they can leverage. But I want to show you some different examples of what we can do during pre-conference. I talked about the announcement video. This is a pre-conference tactic that lets customers and prospects know that, hey, what's going on in the event, why they need to stop by your booth. So it could include, poster presentations, speaker information. You can also include your booth loop. And then, of course, we want to talk about your product information. In a moment, I'm going to show you an example of a pre-conference video. And then this all ties back into that event landing page. So you want to be able to host the video on the event landing page so your marketing team can leverage if they're doing paid media through PPC, obviously any type of social media outreach, through email as well. And then the sales team can leverage the power of this video, but then also the actual event landing page. So let's tee up the pre-conference video, announcement video. Here we go. I don't know about you, but I was dancing in the background, and that video specifically addressed all of the content that I was talking about. Key stakeholders, the CEO, as you saw at the last, was at the image up there at the very last. We also talked about what presenters that they had up on screen. The booth number was up there. It had great music. So our client leveraged this for a variety of different marketing tactics. But moving on, let's get into the actual conference and what happens. And I want to talk about the in-booth experience when clients, prospects come up to your booth. And one of the main assets that we leverage from a video standpoint is creating a booth loop that's on a 3 to 4 minute loop roughly. But one of the ideas, one of the concepts that we typically work with our clients on is repurposing a lot of their print collateral. So you can see over here on the right, we've got key marketing message, we've got product solution logos, we have lifestyle images. We want to repurpose that and create an engaging booth loop that includes animation, motion graphics, text on screen, include that key marketing message, product information, and then it could be, depending on your brand style guide, stock images. But typically this video is a in-booth experience. So there's no script, there's no voiceover, because your sellers that are in the booth are going to be talking about your solution. You just want to use this, and we'd love to use this analogy. It's like a billboard, right? It's just an eye-catching billboard with motion It's got your solution on there, and then also key marketing message. Sometimes it's 3 to 3.5 minutes. I've seen a little bit longer and a little bit shorter. The key thing about this booth loop is you can actually create additional assets that I'm going to talk about in a moment. But the other thing is we enable this to, again, not have a script. And then again, when I was talking about creating additional assets, let's say, for example, you have 4 different solutions or 4 different products. You can break those off into individual clips that you can use to promote the event socially as well. And again, this is just a way to repurpose your booth loop. Here are some different examples. I'm going to play one for you specifically. This has got again, no script, no voiceover. So you're just going to get some nice music and you're going to get some great visuals. Let's get into it. I hope that example was helpful. I don't know if you heard some snaps in the background. That was me just grooving out to that great music. But typically what we do for any type of booth loop asset is what we're doing is creating a storyboard of the visuals that's actually going to go into it. So this is a great piece of document that you can share with your internal marketing team. You can leverage for if you have legal and regulatory. This is a great document because you can collaborate and get all that information and feedback from them. And then for us, we typically include 3 rounds of revisions that go with it. So this is done before we even create or even start creating your actual booth loop. And again, another opportunity at the actual conference is if you're recording presentations, workshops, we want to be able to record that and capture that. That's great content that you can repurpose because again, most of your prospects, customers, only about 5 to 10% probably show up for the conference. How you can leverage the other 90% and engage them is repurposing this footage that you've captured at the conference and then setting up that sequence that I'm going to talk about here in a moment. But again, you want to interview KOLs, key stakeholders. If you've got raving fans, let's capture those testimonials because if you can capture a customer talking about your solution and raving about it, that's one of the highest converting video assets that you can create. And typically, we're recording these off the conference trade show floor. We're in a private setting, like in a ballroom, in a suite, a large room, and these can be leveraged. These testimonials, these KOLs can be repurposed and used across a variety of different marketing tactics, but then also the sales team can leverage it for any type of sales enablement through the buyer's journey to be able to convince and convert digitally before they meet with the prospect. And then the last thing I want to get into, again, if your prospects aren't able to go to the conference, which again, a very small, low percentage is, how can you engage them after the conference? So post-conference activities, we want to talk about how you can leverage it for non-attendees, but also those badge scans. Why don't you set up a email sequence with your marketing automation platform? And I'm happy to talk about a lot of the different automation platforms that we work with. We're agnostic, but we are HubSpot users, just full disclosure. I would recommend doing a 4 to 6 email sequence after the conference to engage your customers after the actual event. This is just one of the examples of the emails and what it looks like. There's a video thumbnail, as you can see in the middle, because people are 4 times more likely to watch a video than actually read text. So that video thumbnail is important. They click on that and they go down to your event landing page, or they go to your customer journey page that convinces and converts them digitally. The other thing we want to talk about is the repurposing of the booth loop. So the booth loop, if you remember, there's no audio, there's no script, and it's not something that you would leverage post-conference because you're not educating prospects through a script. It's just visuals, and there's going to be a big disconnect. So what I would add is a voiceover and specifically a script that walks that customer through your solution. And then as I mentioned, and as I've showed, there's also a lot of different personality that you can get through different types of music. And again, this is the last tactic that I'm going to talk about when it comes to post-conference. I truly hope this information has been helpful as you plan out your next event. And again, I'm a nerd for conferences, so feel free to reach out. But keep in mind, as you plan out your strategies for conferences and your tactics, by leveraging the power of video, People are 4 times more likely to actually watch a video than read text, and people process information through video 60,000 times faster than actually reading text as well. So again, I hope this has been helpful. Hit me up if I can help. Bye for now.